Welcome to Monee Free. I am Pastor Kevin.
And I'm Pastor Bethany.
And we want to tell you about what God has been doing through us here in Monee and the surrounding areas. Monee Free is a diverse, multi-generational, family-oriented church. We have young, we have old, we have middle-aged, we have empty nesters, we have retirees. And so we're really excited about what God is doing and looking forward to even greater things to come. So over the past several years, we've been really intentional in trying to reach out to young families. A big part of that has been the hiring of Pastor Bethany.
Our Awana program we began about 3 years ago, and we actually first started with a kids club, and we would have, on a great Wednesday night, we would have 6 to 10 kids. Yeah. And so we thought, well, let's try something new. Let's try Awana. It's well known. And we can get behind this. And in that first year or so, our prayer goal was 50 kids. And even by the end of that first year, we're like, this is crazy. Maybe we should pray for 30, And in December of this past year, we hit 50, and we really haven't looked back from 50. So it's been rare that we have less than 50 kids on a Wednesday night. And it's just been incredible to see God move in that, and even in this last year to see some of those families actually come to church on Sunday morning. That has just been awesome.
Yeah, that's been the exciting thing, is that it's not just other churches' kids, but it's really parents in the community that are bringing their children here, because there's a real deficit for good quality children's programs in our community, and we recognize that and have really been intentional about trying to provide those.
Another way that we've really tried to reach out is through a toddler open gym time on Wednesday mornings. And again, that was something that just started with a couple of families. Just a time for toddlers and their moms and grandmas and dads to come and just play and run around.
One of the things we like to say here is we're about connecting people to Christ and others, about relationships, about making connections, because relationship is what ministry is all about. And so that's what the toddler time that Bethany's been talking about is really what it is making connections with these people who, it may not be this year, but it may be next year or 2 or 3 years down the road when life hits them and they realize they need something more because what they've been doing isn't working. Yeah, I guess the other way that we've really been intentional about bringing Jesus to our community is through community outreach. And that's been partly our intention, but also God just opening doors and us walking through them. That community involvement has really opened up doors to the Monee Alliance of Churches, which we're part of, which is made up of 8 churches, which Bethany kind of organizes and runs on behalf of the village. Through that, we've been able to do all area vacation Bible school through all the different churches of Monee, and an all area Easter egg hunt. So all those 8 churches have come together and partnered together to bring the gospel through those events to where, how many do we have at our Easter egg hunt this last year?
We had over 300 kids, but I would guess there are probably about 800 people there total.
So that's really what we've been trying to do, is just make as many connections with people as possible. Also meet a need in the community for good programs for young people. And God just seems to keep opening the doors in the village. One other way that God's really just opened the door for us in these last few years is through many college students that have come up from Olivet Nazarene University. And that's not really been any magic potion that we have to say, hey, this is how you do it. It's been influential people in our church that God has used to bring that. The other aspect I think that the college students are really looking for and that they loved is that they were a part of the whole family here. It wasn't a college ministry. It was a whole church that really latched on to them, that they saw their value in this whole church body, that the older generation reached out to them and the young people reached out to the older generation. And so that's been helpful in our resurgence as a church. It's just really just going where God is leading, where God's moving, just join Him in that. That's what we've been about here at Monee Free. Yeah. In recent months, God has brought a building in the heart of Monee. It's actually on Main Street in Monee. And when it was first brought to our attention about possibly acquiring this building, I just kind of said no inside, because who are we? We're just this dinky little church. We shouldn't be buying another building to do stuff out of. But the more and more I said no, it seemed like the more and more the people around me were saying, I think we should look into this. People that I thought would say no with me were saying, no, I think we should look into this, to where we've been praying and asking God to show us if His will is for us to acquire this building. And the longer we've waited, the longer we sought God, the more the prices come down, the more it seems like God may be doing this, and I'm just blown away. The next stage of our church growth is for our youth ministry to teenagers, because we're growing the young people, and now they're going to grow up and form a youth group. And so we really need a youth pastor to come and be able to be here, and to have another apartment where we can house a youth pastor or a youth intern in that building would be fantastic and a huge benefit. And then the bottom level of this building, we have the dream that if God would give it to us, that we would develop, that could possibly be the church plant that God placed in our hearts, to do a coffee house type ministry. If you lose your life, you'll save it. And I think that's key for us as churches, that we need to realize the more we give away, the more we're serving, the more we don't care if we're recognized as the ones that are doing it, the more God's going to say, there's some servants who get it, and I think He's going to give us more opportunity to serve.